Okay, so we've all been there, right? You're staring in the mirror at a brand new breakout and you just feel so frustrated. You've tried every cream, every acid out there, but the acne, it just keeps coming back. So what if the solution isn't another product you put on your skin? What if it's about looking at your health in a totally different way? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into a really fascinating case study that does just that. It's all about tackling acne from the inside out.
I mean, this quote just hits home, doesn't it? It's that exact moment of, just peak frustration. You know, when the very products that were supposed to be your secret weapon, and maybe they were working for a bit, suddenly feel like they've completely turned on you. So what's actually going on here? Well, the story usually starts in the same place for a lot of us, with those acid-based products. I mean, they're everywhere you look, and for a good reason. They can be really effective. But, and this is a big but, this is where we can fall into what's called the overuse trap. All right, so let's quickly break down the two main players you'll see in these products. First up, you've got AHAs, or alpha hydroxy acids. These guys are water soluble. Think of them like surface workers. They're great for exfoliating that top layer of your skin. Then you've got the BHAs, beta hydroxy acids. Salicylic acid is the famous one here. Now, these are oil soluble, which is key, because it means they can really dive deep down into your pores to clear out all that gunk. And this right here is the crucial question. While these acids can be a good thing, the source material points out that using them constantly, like day in and day out, might actually start to weaken your skin's natural protective barrier. And think of that barrier like a shield, right? When that shield gets compromised, it can kind of ironically lead to even more inflammation. And yep, you guessed it, more acne.
So if you're stuck in that cycle where the surface treatments just aren't cutting it, what's the alternative? Well, let's get into a real-world case study to see a different path. We're going to meet a teenager named JK who was, you guessed it, stuck in this exact same frustrating loop. So here's the rundown on Jay. She's 16 years old and had already been fighting acne for 4 whole years. And we're not talking about a few minor pimples here. This had progressed to really deep, painful cysts and nodules. But now, look at her major triggers: school stress, anxiety, a crazy lifestyle, and only getting 4 to 7 hours of sleep a night. Right away, these are huge clues that her acne was probably connected to a whole lot more than just what was happening on the surface of her skin. Okay, so to really get what she was going through, we need a quick vocabulary lesson on the different kinds of acne she was experiencing. It'll help put her whole journey into perspective. All right, first base, comedones. These are basically your primary, non-inflamed clogged pores. You've got two kinds: open ones, we all know those as blackheads, and closed ones, which are whiteheads. This is ground zero, the starting point for pretty much all other types of acne. Then things can escalate to pustules. Now, this is what most people think of as a classic pimple. It's what happens when that simple clogged pore gets all inflamed and infected with bacteria. That's what creates that, visible sac of pus. And finally, we get to the really severe stuff, which is exactly what JK was dealing with: nodules and cysts. These guys form way deep down in the skin. Nodules are these hard, super painful lumps. Cysts are a bit softer, but they're filled with pus. And crucially, they're the ones most likely to cause permanent scarring. This is the kind of acne it's brutal, both physically and emotionally. Okay, so now that we've got the vocabulary down, let's completely switch gears and look at this through the lens of traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM. The big idea here is to look beyond the surface. Instead of just treating the pimple, this approach connects those outward symptoms, the things you can see, to what it considers imbalances deep inside the body. Now, I know these terms might sound a little out there, but stick with me because they're actually pretty intuitive when you break them down. For JK, the diagnosis was liver qi stagnation. In TCM, that's directly linked to her high stress and anxiety. Makes sense, right? Then there was blood heat. Think of that as a way to describe all the redness and inflammation. And toxic heat? That lines up perfectly with those severe, deep pustules and cysts. So you see, it's just a different language to describe the same symptoms, but it's focused on finding the root cause inside. So, with that very specific diagnosis, the treatment plan was obviously not going to be some one-size-fits-all cream off the shelf. Nope. It was a completely personalized approach, using herbal medicine taken internally, plus lifestyle changes, all designed to target those specific imbalances we just talked about. So what did that actually look like in practice?
Well, JK was given a custom-blended herbal formula. Every single ingredient was chosen for a reason. For instance, an herb called chai hu was in there to help with her liver qi stagnation, the stress. Another one, danshen, was used to cool that blood heat and calm down the redness. And something called tufu ling was used to help reduce all that excess oil. It's like a targeted, multi-pronged attack on the root causes, not just the symptoms.
And here's a really important reality check. This was not an overnight miracle cure. Not even close. Her journey, as you can see, was a real one. She saw some initial improvement after 2 months, which is great, but then life happened. The pandemic hit, her routine got thrown off, and she had a setback. That's real. But she stuck with it, and by the 9.5-month mark, her active acne was finally under control.
But as anyone who's had severe acne knows, getting the active breakouts to stop is really only half the battle. The next phase was all about dealing with the aftermath, the lingering discoloration and the scars.
So to help tackle that leftover discoloration and just support her skin from the outside too, a special topical cream was brought into the mix. And this cream had a really powerful plant-based ingredient that honestly has been getting a ton of buzz lately. And that ingredient is bakuchiol. Now, if you haven't heard of it, the easiest way to think about it is as a gentle, plant-based alternative to the powerhouse ingredient retinol. The cool thing is, it gives you a lot of the same amazing benefits for acne and anti-aging, but, and this is a game changer for many people, without all those classic retinol side effects like the dryness, the irritation, the peeling. It's a way gentler, but still super effective approach.
So let's just recap the whole game plan, right? Step 1, use the internal herbs to shut down the active acne. Step 2, focus on fading the discoloration using both the herbs and that new topical cream. And then for the final step, it was time to physically heal the scars that were left behind using a procedure called microneedling. And the results? They were pretty amazing. After just 3 sessions of microneedling, which basically uses tiny needles to kickstart your skin's own collagen production, JK saw what the source calls remarkable improvement in her scarring. Now, of course, being young definitely helps your skin bounce back faster, and that probably played a big role here too. This whole journey really leaves us with one big, thought-provoking question, doesn't it? What if the best solution for your skin isn't actually on your skin at all? For these really stubborn issues like severe acne, maybe it's time to stop searching for that one magic bullet in a bottle and start looking a little deeper.